It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly. That Business Show gives a voice to Tampa Bay's entrepreneurial community and highlights our community leaders, aiming to inspire and educate our listeners. Become a part of the entrepreneurial movement today by becoming a member of the Tampa Bay Business Owners and get your brand on air today. Visit TampaBayRadio.com for more information. All shows available on demand. Now, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Working Woman Wednesdays edition of That Business Show. Now with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. This is one of our most traditional segments on the program, going back to last March 2015, shortly thereafter the founding of the program, which was February 2nd, 2015. And then Kelly threw a wrench into it now, and now we got a new inception date now when it became That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, which is what date? Put you on the spot, so you don't know. So you got to remember that. So we got to learn that date.
It'll be 4 weeks tomorrow.
You started on a Thursday, right?
It was, so 4 weeks tomorrow. With the actual date, I'd have to look at.
Those are key dates and the growth of the show. So you got to.
This is true, and I actually have it written down. I can probably tell you when in the next few minutes. I'll look because it will be 3 weeks, Friday, Thursdays since I quit smoking. Yep. So I've kept that date.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that's another milestone date.
Forgot to bring that up. Yeah, you had quit smoking and still moving on. You said you moved on to the next generation patch or something.
Yeah, well, step 2 of the patches. Yeah, yesterday was a milestone. I got to transition from my step 1 patch to step 2, where it goes from 14 milligrams of nicotine or 21 to 14. So, and then you slowly wean off. But,
do you have those feelings for the cigarettes, so an actual physical craving? Because when I smoked, I didn't. I quit smoking just because I didn't want to smoke anymore, and the environment and my jobs and all that stuff changed. The people I was around changed, and it was like, why am I smoking? I quit.
For years I have been the outcast. I don't really smoke when I'm out.
But do you have that? What I'm getting at is, do you have that physical feeling?
Yes, yeah. After 22 years of smoking, yes, I definitely had it. I do not now with the patch. I highly recommend the patches, and the dreams that you have while wearing them are actually, it's fun. They're good. I have good dreams. I mean, it's an adventure every night. When you go to sleep. Do
you find that you're sleeping better then?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, and I assume because that means if I'm actually dreaming, I'm in a REM state. So yes, I am sleeping better. I do not wake up a lot during the night anymore where I used to. Normally I do. So I may just have to sleep with these patches on for the rest of my life. I don't know. But maybe at one of the lower dosages. But I highly recommend the patches. It does not help with it's the habit part that's hard.
Right.
And I have, there's those e-cigarettes and stuff out there, and I'm not doing anything. I don't need any other habits.
Yeah, the physical act of smoking was the challenge, because I was used to having a cigarette when I had a beer or when after a dinner. But and another thing about smoking was it gave an end to things. So if I was doing something at work, it was like, all right, I'm done. Now I can go have my
your little reward. Yeah, even though the reward was killing us.
Yes,
but it's something to look forward to. But yes, the habit aspect is hard. So it's just a matter of breaking that, and I'm trying not to do that with food or compensating with alcohol or any other. I don't need any other major addictions. So just trying to take it one day at a time.
3 weeks on the program, so That Business Show is now That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, and it's Working Woman Wednesdays, and we have Jessica Ravelli on the phone line with us this morning. So good morning to you, Jessica. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We are doing great. So let's talk a little bit about some of the events that you have coming up at the Working Women of Tampa Bay. You have a headshot party coming up?
Yeah. So next Tuesday we'll do our headshot party. We do these a couple times a year. If you've been on LinkedIn recently, you realize that without a headshot, I don't even accept someone on LinkedIn if they
right.
don't have a headshot.
Yeah, I don't either.
So exactly, it's really important to have a professional headshot, and a lot of times that can be quite expensive. I know though Rick Toseda, who's in studio a lot, does some beautiful shots. So we every couple months we do them. You get your hair and your makeup done, and you come away with a great shot. And for non-members, it's only $75. So
that even includes hair and makeup?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So when is that going on? How do people register for that? How do you get involved with that?
Yeah, so that's next Tuesday from 4 to 8, and it's it's actually at Symphony Agency, where Lauren Davenport's agency, which you've had her on, and you can register for that at workingwomenatTampaBay.com. Just click events, go to the calendar, and choose November 15th. So that's one event. Yep.
Definitely important to have a headshot. It amazes me when we have people on the program. So maybe people don't have headshots, because that's one of the things we ask for when we're making the show card is send us your headshot, and we get a variety of different images. And a lot of times they're the low quality images. So when you stretch them out, they can become distorted. So you got to have the high quality images in your portfolio there for those types of requests, so that you look good in all professional situations.
Yeah, if you are a professional. I was going to say in Tampa Bay, but really doesn't matter if you're in Tampa Bay, anywhere. You should have a headshot, a bio, and have two versions of a bio. Have a shortened bio, which is what you guys usually need for putting out when you send out your newsletter every Sunday, and a longer bio for, when you need something a little bit more, lengthy. But it's amazing how many professionals don't have those two things.
Yep. And so let's talk a little bit about the guests that we're going to be featuring today. We're going to talk with Alexis Nguyen here in the upcoming segment. Tell me a little bit about her.
Yeah, so I'm excited for you to meet Alexis. She is a woman entrepreneur that is growing her business rapidly around Tampa Bay. She's in home health care, which is, obviously a really growing area right now, especially as, baby boomers continue to age. So she's got a great entrepreneurial spirit. She's all about helping other women and other Tampa Bay professionals. I know that she's part of our mentoring program, so she's mentoring one of our members. And then I'm really excited for you to meet Tony and Lily. You're going to love their story. It's great when you see families that get together in an entrepreneurial journey, and we've been watching this mother-daughter duo pretty much the entire time Working Women has started. They've been with us almost from the very beginning, and to see their company grow and to see them, they do handcrafted soaps and all these
goat milk soap.
Yeah, I love those stories.
They got a picture of a goat in their picture. It says Simply Caprine goat milk soaps and skincare. I'm hoping they can tell me the difference between a goat and a billy goat today too, because with the Cubs winning the World Series last week, the curse of the billy goat, and I wasn't sure what the difference was.
I thought it was buffaloes.
No, it was the curse of the billy goat.
Oh, that's right, billy goats.
So I was trying to figure out what the difference between a goat and a billy goat was. Do you know what that is, Jessica, by the chance?
No.
Okay, all right.
And that's why you have Tony and Lily on today, because what's great about them is they have a story that, starts in one industry and ends in another. And I think that that's a great example of, entrepreneurship, now in the 21st century, is that, you may be doing something and you see that there's a need in the community, or you see that, you can fill another void with the same products. In this case, it's goats.
Right.
So they've got a great story, but it's just so heartwarming to see families getting together in small business, and Tony and Lily are the epitome of that.
Very good. Any big events coming up? Dress for Success is past, right? Think Pink. What's around the corner for you right now?
We're starting to wrap everything up. I will say I'm really excited that the Best in the Biz.
Oh, that's right. Yes, congratulations on that. Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
We're up in 3 categories, and then I'm up in event planning, and then Dress for Success. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because you mentioned Dress for Success. Their annual luncheon, which I was the event chair, was named as one of the Best in the Biz. So we find out tomorrow. So yeah, super excited. But yeah, we'll have Think Pink December 1st, and then we're ready to wrap up the year. I'm ready for a vacation.
I know. It's hard to believe it's like November 9th now.
How often do they put out those Tampa Bay Business Journal Best of the Biz? Because I see those things pop up a couple times throughout the year. Do you know? It seems like it's more than once a year, though. But do you know?
It's just once a year, but they keep changing when it is.
Okay.
So it used to be that it was closer to the summertime, and then they've pushed it back several times. So that's probably why you feel like it's come out several times. But, the Business Journal does so many the Best in the Biz is the voters vote, or the readers vote, but they do so many of these, CFO of the year and CIO of the year, right, and nonprofit of the year. I mean, they've really created an entire business around events and awards, which is, it's a revenue generator, which at a time where print is not doing so well. So that's why I think you see so many award stuff going on.
I see my radio show pops up on there for best morning radio show. Not that I could ever compete with these big brand names that are out there and everything, but it's just an honor to even appear on the list with the other morning show radio personalities. I wish though they would do a little bit more research though on the morning shows, because in this latest one they had That Business Show as one name, and then they had Jamie Maloney. So they had me broken apart as two different selections, and I've noticed that they've done that with other morning shows too, like with Jack and Ted up front. They'll have AM Tampa Bay, and then they'll have Jack Harris, and they'll have Ted Webb.
Yeah, and it's all one and the same.
Yeah, and they need to condense that into one category.
Hopefully they consolidated your vote.
Yeah, I don't know, but
inquire about that.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I voted for you.
Well, we appreciate that. So
there you go. You got my seal of approval.
Very cool. Jessica Ravelli, CEO and founder of the Working Women of Tampa Bay Networking Group. We appreciate you checking in on this Working Women Wednesdays.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a great day.
All right. Learn more about her and her many events, workingwomenoftampabay.com. Again, you can come out to any one of the events free of charge and network with the professional women that come in and out of the events and learn more about the benefits. You don't have to be a business owner to join the organization as well, in a very cost-effective investment, and some 800-plus members.
They
and
do
a very
so many events. They always have something going on.
And they're all over like the Tri-County area. They're in Pasco, they're in Pinellas, they're in Hillsborough, and there's a lot of different events going on, all over the place. So definitely can get involved. And again, not
a lot of great women.
Yeah,
are
not too costly to get involved either. So people can learn more at workingwomenoftampabay.com. Going to take a break. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking to Alexis Nguyen, president and owner of Assisting Hands Home Care, on the Working Woman Wednesdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Toseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktoseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Toseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Good morning. Crash in Tarpon Springs affecting traffic along southbound US 19 near Beckett Way. Also a crash in the Pinellas Park and Seminole area on Park Boulevard near 83rd. Eastlake and Missouri crash in that area, slowing traffic, and some slow traffic on southbound 275 between Fletcher Avenue and Sly. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udorick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. In places around the world, there are elders who long for community, connection, and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Sponsor an elder through Unbound and help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who has helped us all build a better world. Meet one at unbound.org.
Today, partly cloudy with a 10% chance of showers, high 79. Tonight, clearing skies, low 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 81.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And we're back to That Business Show now with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. It's also the Working Woman Wednesdays edition of the program. Each and every Wednesday at 8 a.m., we feature a couple of the professional ladies from the Working Women of Tampa Bay networking group, Working Women of Tampa Bay. And you can learn more about how to get on the program if you're a member by reaching out to Jessica Ravelli and talking with her about that. Let's go ahead and bring in our next guest for the program. We have Alexis Nguyen, president and owner of Assisting Hands Home Care, and learn more about this at assistinghands.com/Gulf Coast. So, Alexis, welcome to the program today.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, the basic question, tell us a little bit more about Assisting Hands Home Care.
It is a franchise. We started in Florida 2006. We specialize in personal care, light housekeeping, companionship for senior care, elderly assistance, and also people with disabilities.
Okay, in-home care. I know I've covered this topic on the program a number of times with Christy Campbell, and so this deals with seniors while they're still able to live at home. Correct? Because I remember there's like 5 levels of assisted care, with the first being still in-home care.
And those stages does not apply to in-home care.
Okay.
95% of the folks who are 65 and over want to age in place. And so we make sure, part of our response is to make sure that they are able to do that independently, safely, and as long as they want to stay at home.
Okay. All right. So what is your background, and how did you come into assisted care?
Well, that's a good question. I've been in healthcare for almost basically 30 years. At the age of 16, I worked for my father, and so I processed my first medical claims back then. At the age of 22, I basically relocated and moved after graduating from University of Florida, moved to Connecticut and built the first Medicaid system for the state of Connecticut. At the age of 35, I oversaw case management, utilization management, nurses and doctors for a very large insurance company. And then at the age of 40, I became an executive advisor for health plans And that's also when I had a calling from God, redirected me to go into senior care. Part of it is because growing up, I was really, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And then at the age of about 17, my biology teacher in high school brought me to a nursing home where I met Bessie Baxter, who reminded me of my grandmother. And I connected with her, and since then I realized I have a affinity towards seniors.
Wow, incredible story. Do you have a staff behind you? Are you just the one-woman shop? How is your company structured?
I have a lot of field staff altogether. We speak 13 different languages to cater to a diverse population. So I have about 140 field staff out in the field, and then 6 of us in the office to ensure that the field staff get the support that they need.
Are you still out in the field also doing the caregiving, or are you mostly doing the administrative, running the business side of things today?
I would say the administrative, the out there building relationship, networking, talking about some of the things that we're doing.
When you started, though, you started as a caregiver and built up the business and then to have staff and everything?
We had, there's 2 of us. Starting a business is not easy.
No, we know about that. We hear about that every day on here.
You're every day, especially the first 2 years, you're feeling like you're constantly pushing a rock up the hill.
We know about that. Yeah, we hear about that every day on here.
And that was a constant battle. It was a very emotional experience as well.
Patience and perseverance.
And patience and perseverance, like you say.
As we just said earlier, too. That's the key to getting through.
How long did it take you to where you were comfortable and self-sustaining, or do you even feel you're at that point right now?
We're actually reaching a multi-million dollar company.
Congratulations.
So we're under 3 years old. It was, I would say, about 9 months in.
So there's 9 months of scary times and not sure which way it would go, but then you're on to a $1 million company now.
Yeah, that's great, because that's a lot less time, thankfully, for you than unfortunately a lot of people have to endure until they really get to that point where they're seeing those types of returns. So that's great.
And getting help. It's as an entrepreneur, you constantly have to make the decision between where you find the resources to get help and be able to get to the point where you have the revenue to hire help, additional help.
And that's why networking and collaborations and those types of things are so vital for a small business owner, because being surrounded by like-minded people that then can refer you to other people and building those relationships, I think it's key to success ultimately.
What do you attest the success to? A certain habit or a skill set or mindset that you had during those first 9 months? What advice would you give to somebody out there that are listening that are still in that phase where they're not sure if they're going to make it?
They still feel like they're pulling the rock, going up, like you said earlier. What advice do you have for them?
I would say, I think a couple of things that we made that really changed, we saw the turnaround was, one is when you bring people in, hire people, you make sure that they share the same values that you do.
Okay.
We really encompass and cultivate on the value of being compassionate. So you have to have compassion in this line of business. The second thing is we have to be reliable and dependable for seniors and people with disabilities. And then the third thing is integrity. You build your business based on integrity. So for our field staff, we treat them as all professional. When you treat them with respect and treat them as professional, they really, go above and beyond for the clients and then for the company.
Have you found, because I can imagine, and I take very well to older people too, and I think I didn't really have grandparents growing up, and maybe that is why I always had such passion for older people, but and then losing my mother last year, it's very difficult when you care so much, and it's our loved ones that we're talking about. Is it hard then to place or to really pick those that are in the homes with and that are representing your company? Does that make sense the way I said it?
Well, hold that question there. We're at the bottom of the hour. We'll let Alexis address that question when we come back from the break. Again, talking to Alexis Nguyen, president and owner of Assisting Hands Home Care. Learn more again at assistinghands.com/Gulf Coast. And also you can learn more about this program over at TampaBayRadio.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Billmeyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Billmeyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
275, and still seeing delays on southbound Park Street approaching 54th Avenue North. Crash in the right-hand lane. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uderick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by SOS Children's Villages. War, poverty, and disaster have left millions of children around the world orphaned, abandoned, alone. When their parents can't be there, SOS Children's Villages is there in 134 countries, including the U.S. To make a difference in a child's life, go to SOSUSA.org.
1250 winds weather center forecast. We'll see a front move through the Bay Area today. Start off with some sunshine, then becoming mostly cloudy. Look for some showers as well. And cooler, upper 70s, near 80 for the high. Low 60s tonight. Look for the same forecast minus the rain and clouds over the next few days and looking at mid-70s for the upcoming weekend. Impact Radio 1250 winds.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed the show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to That Business Show. Now, with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Again, learn more about the program over at TampaBayRadio.com. All shows are available on demand, and we do invite you to connect with us all across social media, Facebook.com/That Business Show. And we also put a lot of short little in-studio clips up there. And so if you miss an episode, you kind of want to see some of the highlights. Matt Ashwood keeps it going each and every morning with some short video clips posted over there on the Facebook page. And also the high-definition full-length videos are on TampaBayRadio.com. But we recommend that you view them over on the YouTube channel where they're uploaded in high definition. That's youtube.com/Jamie Maloney. And also we are on iTunes as a podcast. Currently talking to Alexis Nguyen, president and owner of Assisting Hands Home Care. And you can learn more about her at assistinghands.com/Gulf Coast.
Well, before the break, we talked a little bit in regard. It'll be a year, November 30th, that unfortunately I lost my mom to lymphoma, and it's still hard to deal with, and time helps. But going through that process when you have a loved one that is so dear to you that you're facing with an illness that you're losing, as I said, when you have and I love the fact of in-home care, because then that's what we were able to do with my mom was. It's such a tough time. I can't imagine her having to have been in a facility. At least being home, she's surrounded by everything that she's familiar with, and it makes a very hard time maybe easier. But how I would think choosing the caregivers that are going to be representing your company and caring for these individuals. I would think that would be a difficult as a business owner. I would, I'd almost like hand choose like everybody, because it's such a vital role with the organization. How do you deal with that? And you're very passionate too. So how is that for you? Is that difficult, or do you go through a lot of people because they're not standing up to your standards?
Well, I think we have built internal structure in place to basically screen and interview people.
So you take that, you're just kind of taking the emotion out of it some, because you almost have to deal with. I mean, it's still there, but I mean, you have to run. Yeah, it's also a business.
I think it's a lot of time. It's the question that you ask. Right? I've been in management since I was 27 years old, and be able to. One of my gifts is to be able to read characters. you will. So what we've done was we built in our structure and our procedures when we screen people. Part of it is beside the background screen, if you will, to make sure they have no, records, bad records. We also, when we bring them in, I meet them, our HR folks meet them, our nurse meet them, and when you go through that extensive process, if you will, I think we're able to identify some really good folks out there.
And really, it takes a toll on the family members. And my mom was here with me here in Tampa for a while, but then as things progressed, she went back up north with my sister. And as I would go and visit towards the end, as my sister was being the main caregiver, and we didn't have anyone else there, which I think is key to have, so that you can still keep that. It got to the point where my sister was becoming angry. Because, she's frustrated. She's trying to care for my mother, and she would, sometimes bowels are lost, and you can't control a lot of these things. My mother couldn't control it, and my sister would just go off and start screaming. And it's like, that's the last thing you want. You don't want to be, don't scream at Mom. She doesn't know what she's doing. It was just and here I am kind of watching all this thinking, whoa, this is unhealthy, and we don't want Mom's last days for you to be screaming at her. So I can see where that, having an assist, helping, having your organization there to kind of help cope with this and being that main caregiver could have allowed my sister to not have gone through that aspect of it and save my mom.
And how often do you end up?
I think what we're finding out is that we have a situation or a client who basically turned 100 years old and passed away before she reached 101. She lived by herself, and her children live in other states. I think that's the main, that's a challenge that I think we're finding out that more and more people living alone and their children live out of state.
Well, a lot of times parents don't want to be a burden.
And the children were trying to take care of her from afar. They have their own families. And so the main thing is that how do we build that support system and internally and locally for them? Mm-hmm. We became that support system for them.
You became the assisting hands.
The assisting hands, yeah. So we became the support system for the children, and they know who to call and who to go to.
Yeah, that's great.
When there's a need. So
I imagine a lot of your energy is spent not only between your client, the senior, but also the adult children, and then kind of managing their concerns too. So how do you bide your time between the two?
Well, a lot of time what we find out is that the children called us at 9 o'clock. We're 24/7 for a reason. The children called us at 9 o'clock in the evening, or 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and they get a hold of someone, a live person speaking with them and reassure them as far as what's going on with their mom or their dad or their aunt. And that helps a lot. That's that extra reassurance that we are able to provide.
That's what I was going to say, too. Even if the older children are not afar, it's still a great idea to have someone like yourself or the assisting hands there instead of the child having to do it, because it just puts so much of a toll on the situation.
And I remember we got an inquiry. It was 11 o'clock at night. I happened to be up. It was our first year into the business. The daughter was panicking. She reached a point where she felt that she couldn't help her mom anymore, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And it was such a challenge for her. She was torn between moving mom into assisted living facility or hire someone for us. And she realized afterwards when she brought us on board, she's like, I should have brought you guys on board a long time ago. That would help ease what she was dealing with and what she was going through.
Well, and unfortunately, it's such a hard time that now those memories are what is instilled in your mind instead of being able to enjoy your parents the way and just really reflect on those memories. Now you're reflecting on those final days sometimes, and that's difficult.
At what age are seniors typically beginning to require in-home care? Is it 70, 75, 80? At what point on average do you see, or is it kind of across the board these days?
Most of the seniors that we assist with are on average in the 80s.
80s, okay.
We have our oldest client right now is 98, and she is so independent. She lives by herself. Her nephew, cardiologist, contacted us and brought us on board, and they just feel really comfortable that she's doing really well.
And I imagine you kind of take on like a familial role in the caregiving experience. I mean, how would you describe the role? Is it kind of like they're a mother and you're another adult child with them, or how would you describe the relationship that develops between your clients and the caregivers?
It's really friendship. What we're finding out is we're really in a Match.com business when you think about it, matching the caregiver to the client. What we're finding out when we have established that chemistry, they both enrich each other's lives. It's really amazing. The caregiver learns so much from the senior, and the senior get their companionship.
Is that a process when you're boarding new clients that maybe it takes one or two or three different caregivers to find the right person, or are you usually able to place the right person with them right from the start?
98% we're able to place someone. When we go in there, do what we call an intake meeting with the client, meeting with their family. We have an idea, our staff, their personality, character, and then we're able to match them up. So we're really proud of that. I mean, that's something that you have to really pay attention to.
That's like a gift, I think, and that's I think goes to the passion that you have for what you're doing in your organization, because being able to, and that it takes away from pain that they could endure. So thank you for doing that and helping out our older generation, because that is a very tough time. I speak personally, so. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
So you call your business a social entrepreneur. You call yourself a social entrepreneur. What do you mean by the term social entrepreneurship with your business?
Well, as an entrepreneur, you have a business idea, and then an idea that you're passionate about, and you execute it and implement and roll it out. As a social entrepreneur, you focus on the social aspect of it. So we have, clients who live alone. They have different needs. Greater needs, and what we do is when we go out in the community, we look for resources for them to support them. So part of my being a social entrepreneur is I go to DC to talk about some of the issues that we're seeing and some of the challenges that we're seeing coming, surfacing when we're out there taking care of our seniors.
I imagine over the next decade, your business is going to begin to increase in demand because of the baby boomers that are aging in our society. Is that kind of the projection that you're also seeing? Was that also maybe a reason why you got into assisted care, because you saw the demand that was coming up down the road, or was it just because of your passion and your affinity for working with seniors?
I think it's definitely both. Every day, 10,000 people turn 65 years old. So we're really getting to the area where there's going to be a greater needs. We have shortages. We're already feeling it in caregivers. We have to come up with different solution, how to get the caregivers, get them the right training, get people into the field to ensure that our elderlies get the support that they need. So I'm passionate about the home health. I'm passionate about seniors, making sure they live safely. I'm passionate about making sure that releasing stress for their children and their nephews and their nieces.
No, okay, so you hear the term baby boomer all the time. What age group is that?
It's the generation that was born right after the World War II.
So what age are they today?
They're in their So they started being born in 1945, 46. So what's that? They're in the 60s and 70s.
Okay,
now.
so good. I am not in that classification.
No. You're
and
Gen
I'm not
X.
a millennial.
No, you're Gen X.
A Gen X. What is a Gen X?
Well, they're the people born between, I think it's like 1970 and 1977, and I'm right there at the latter part of that generation. So I don't know really who's in charge.
Who came up with that?
I have no idea. I have no idea who's in charge of naming these generations, but yeah, we're Generation X, and then after that was Generation Y, and I really don't know what.
What time? In their 90s, they were born in their 90s. Generation Y.
Generation Y.
I'm a Generation X as well.
The millennials are getting the big attention these days and stuff. That generation will probably replace the baby boomers in later decades as that big aging group that you hear so much about.
And I feel strongly that the millennials are changing the face of senior care. I have a staff in the office who got her degree in gerontology, and now she's working in this field, and she's passionate about it. So I think even some of her ideas is really outside the box, especially when we try to ensure that we run an efficient organization. It is when you have people out in the field, it's different than managing people on the field versus managing people who are inside a brick building.
Yeah.
So does a generation then? Does that equate to a decade?
Well, there is no official record keeping or agency that's in charge of that. But generally speaking, a generation is defined to be roughly 20 years.
Oh, okay.
But the naming of the generations, there's a site where you
We'll
go
have to Google that later.
You can see the different. But I have found multiple sites and they don't all agree with one another. And so there's different interpretations of some of the different generations. And like I said, they're not all necessarily 10 or 20 years. Some of them are very short. And I don't know.
Well, we said Generation X and Y, and so I was just curious: is it a decade? Then is it 20 years? Like what?
I mean, generally speaking, a generation is defined to be 20 years,
20? Okay.
but there is no official record on what that is. That's just up to your own interpretation, really. But yeah, there are websites out there that'll tell you the different names of the different decades or periods, but they don't all agree with one another, and the time frames too. That's what I said. Gen X has a few different time ranges depending on what site you're looking at, or who you're talking to.
Okay, good to know. I'm just okay.
Yeah, you're not a baby boomer yet.
Good to know.
And people say, what's the starting age when you're labeled as a senior? You hear 55 plus. Mm-hmm. You hear people, when they're qualified for Medicare, it's 65. It absolutely is. So I think over time we're going to have to redefine that.
Yeah, people are living longer too.
Exactly. And so, from my perspective, you're a senior when you're in your 80s. You're old when you're 80s. When people come to us and they say, I'm old, and they're only 65, I'm like, you're not old.
Yeah.
Currently talking to Alexis Nguyen, president and owner of Assisting Hands Home Care. And you can learn more at her website, assistinghands.com/Gulf Coast, or give her a call at 813-868-6782. Again, 813-868-6782. And you're listening to the Working Woman Wednesdays feature of That Business Show, now with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Toseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktoseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Toseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Good morning. Crash on the Courtney Campbell Causeway, eastbound direction. It's in the left-hand lane just before the Little Bridge, and traffic slow from Bayshore. Also slow traffic in St. Pete on northbound 275 from just north of downtown St. Pete to around 38th Avenue North. Crash off to the right-hand side there. Crash in Tarpon Springs on southbound US 19 near Beckett Way. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. If you're involved in youth or high school sports, you need to know about Positive Coaching Alliance. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people. PCA workshops help coaches, parents, and student athletes pursue winning and life lessons through sports. Visit positivecoach.org.
Today, partly cloudy with a 10% chance of showers, high 79. Tonight, clearing skies, low 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 81.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Tony and Lily Perez, originally scheduled for the program, unable to be with us this morning, so we'll get them rescheduled. Likely had a long night like many people last night, so we got Alexis Nguyen in studio with us. She is the president and owner of Assisting Hands Home Care, and you can learn more about her at assistinghands.com/Gulf Coast.
Alexis, how do you suggest, or what would, when people like myself, we're going through that situation where we are, unfortunately our loved ones are getting older, what is the best way to find a caregiver in order to bring them home? Obviously, Assisting Hands we'd highly recommend now, but when people don't know you, like, how do you suggest they find the right person to bring in?
Well, I think like we do when we talk to employees, when we bring in people on board, we screen them. There are a lot of choices out there, options. There are independent caregivers, there are nurse registry, and there are home health agency. And when you look for a home health care, when you're looking for a home care service for your loved one, ask the agency if they are a home health agency or a nurse registry. How are their structure, or nurse registry? So how are their structure? Are they basically employee-based, which mean that they would be bonded, insured? There's issues around liability. There's issues around workers' comp. Or are they a staffing organizations where they hire independent contractors, 1099? What that means is that if you were to hire a independent contract, you would become their employer. And if independent contractor, if they don't pay taxes at the end of the year, you could end up be basically liable or responsible to pay the taxes. They independent contract by law are not supervised, so they're
independent.
They're independent.
So nobody's supervising them.
Exactly. So you want to look at that, and not a lot of people are aware of that or know of that or about that. The other thing is that what you want to look for is just basically ask around, word of mouth, contact organizations that are
the power of personal referral. Yeah, you can never underestimate the power of a good referral source.
Unfortunately, there was so much controversy in like assisted living facilities and abuse that was taking place. At least you heard about it a lot in the media and then on the news, and that's just a terrible thing. Do you feel like that is happening as much as it used to? Are places cracking down, and not obviously in-home care? I'm talking about,
assisted living facilities.
Correct.
Is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
yes.
I think I think the last 6 years, the state really, increased in their regulations.
Good.
They are now require for other entities come in and do audits, quality assurance of QA, if you will, and so make sure that people, people live up to their quality and meeting regulation requirements.
Well, I would like to hope that everybody could just stay home and have assisting hands in a facility like yours come out and help make their final days better.
So what are you working on now or in the near future to improve senior care?
Well, what we're finding out is a lot of people cannot afford the long-term care service, meaning the personal care, the light housekeeping, etc. And what we are really working on is how to make that affordable. What we're finding out that most people are approaching us and they say, well, mom needs help, just 1 to 2 hours in the morning and then at night. And so we decided that we're not going to have any minimum requirements, meaning we come for 1 hour or 2 hours, that's fine. We don't have a 4-hour minimum requirement. And what we're doing right now is we're really honing on a program that we're calling Sharing the Care. Reaching out, encouraging neighbors, getting together, and we're able to go out to people for 45 minutes if that's all they need. So that way we can make this type of service more affordable.
No, good
Absolutely.
idea. Good service.
That's something to think about as we age, making sure that we have money saved so we can have in-home care.
There you go. A minute left. If the listeners would like to connect with you, how could they get in touch with you? Best way to get in touch?
Of course, my email. I'll give everyone my work email. It's anguyen@assistinghands.com. And then they can certainly call us at 813-868-6782. We'd love to hear from folks, especially folks that are thinking about or considering getting assistance for their loved ones. And then we're able to provide them with resource and guidance. We have a situation where a young couple called us. Husband basically had a cardiac arrest, went into a coma, and came out with cognitive disability. So we guided the wife through, and she's able to get into the resource in the state of Florida. And then a year later, they then reached back out to us saying, we're ready to get assistance from you.
Alexis Nguyen, thank you so much for being in studio today. Again, President and owner of Assisting Hands Home Care. Thank you all for tuning in to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.